Good.
Let's do it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Noah and Joe Show, formerly the Noah Williams Show. My name is Noah Williams, and I will be your host. Let's introduce our other host and our special guest.
What's going on, everybody? You know who it is. My name is Joseph Smith. I am the host of the Noah Williams Show, the second host. And today we have a special guest. He goes by PC, but his name is Porfirio Torres. Take it off, man.
How's it going, everybody?
What's going on? So yeah, man. The reason why he's here today, he reached out to us. He reached out to Noah specifically and he said, let me be on the first episode of season 2. So I think it's a great way to start off season 2. So, and we thank you for having you, bro. We thank you for having you.
For sure.
So yeah, I got a whole list of things. We're about to interrogate him, so everyone be prepared. But before we get into the interrogation process, is there anything you want to say for yourself, or like?
You want to how do you introduce yourself and stuff like that?
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of people don't really know who I am. I kind of run a lot of behind the scenes. I occasionally make myself known on my page, but real name is Porfirio Torres. A lot of people also know me as PC. A lot of people from my childhood know me as Chito. It's a childhood nickname that I had passed down from my father, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
They used to call you Cheeto?
Yeah, way back in the day. I quit going by that after I graduated.
They call me Daylight and stuff. Cheeto's different. Cheeto is different. But yeah, if you guys didn't know, he's the founder of the Trumbull Area Sports Network. So like, he's that guy. If you guys want to know anything about sports, he's that guy. So him and Noah,
high school sports,
And the question of the day: can you get Noah a job with you? Like, y'all think y'all be the perfect fit? You might have to add Noah to the squad.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, we're a nonprofit, so a lot of what we do, I don't make any sort of money off of what I do. A lot of it's all volunteer based work, and actually, I'm always down. If you ever want to,
I could maybe do like Niles in Trumbull County.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I can help you with that.
Like this past, I'm actually gonna shout him out too. While we're talking about it, yeah, no, this past summer I put out some stuff asking like for volunteers. We ended up getting a couple, but most notably my guy Chase, he came out and he helped me throughout the season, and I gotta say the one he came in clutch one of our games, it was Girard versus Poland. That was actually one of our biggest games that we did. That he came in clutch for that because originally he wasn't set to come that day because he had some things going on, but at the very, very last minute he decided, I'm gonna go. So usually all of my stuff is done with a cell phone, and then a battery pack that I have. And the battery pack, for whatever reason, drained very, very quickly, and by the first quarter it was done. And other bad part, my phone was at 13%, and my phone dies very quickly, especially for stuff like that, because I'm running a camera, I'm running Instagram, I'm running Canva, which is what I use for my graphics. I'm running
Canva,
that all.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, I'm running that all at once. And I probably by the second quarter, I had to shut my phone off. And luckily, he was there and helped me. And like that's, I praise him heavily for that. Hopefully he wants to come back next season and help again. But yeah, no, I mean, hey, if you're ever down, I don't know if I haven't really looked at the schedules that I'm doing as of yet. I don't think as of now I have a Niles game on the schedule, but especially once we get to the winter season next year, for sure, definitely. If there's any time you want to come out and help, for sure.
But it's always a good thing to have someone like around you that's down for the cause, that's willing to help you. Maybe like shout out to Chase for coming in clutch. So like he could do it this year. Hopefully he's around this year again. But I have to ask you, Shane Webb said, "What's up, Noah?"
Hello.
I guess we're not existing or something, but we're on the side. But I have to ask you, is like out of all the games, all the sports team you cover, is there like a particular game you love seeing like every single year that comes around? Like a particular matchup that you like, I have to be at this one?
I haven't really been around long enough to really say that. With that, I think there's always different matchups that I think, I definitely have to see that. That's why we do games of the week.
I know Niles and Howland is one.
Yeah, that was actually this past year, that was the first game I did. And it, I got to say, shout out to Niles. It was a really cool environment. It was a really good game. I'll tell you that. It was. I can't remember the score off the top of my head.
10-8.
Yeah, 10-8. That's what it was. Yeah, no,
It
it was
wasn't
a really
it
fun game.
From my side, it wasn't that good.
I was gonna say, I remember there being a couple really good hits and a couple really good runs. It was a fun game. And then the second game we did, which that was unplanned. I ended up going out there because one of my in-laws cheerleads for them. But second game I did, which was that Saturday, Ravenna versus Ken. That was a fun game as well, but it was a little rocky at the end because a couple gunshots rang out at the end of the it was. Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah, I didn't directly see it. It was across the woods, but yeah, I remember because we're talking to our family and all that, and all you hear is just boom, boom, boom. Like, what is happening?
There ain't no football hits, huh? Ain't no football hits.
Oh, you gotta be careful. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, everyone knows that me and Noah are Niles alumni, but my man PC, he is from Chalker High School, and he graduated the class of 2022, and he was the last person to be on like a 11-man football team or 8-man football team.
Yeah, it was the last class to be a part of the 11-man football team. So just to touch on a little bit of that, so the 2020 to 21 season was Chalker's final season as a part of an 11-man football team. That was our COVID year, so it was very short. We only had about 5 games. That season was highly in jeopardy as well. Our former coach, Coach Tom Conrad, he ended up stepping down. I think December of 2019 it was. Ended up taking a coaching job at Champion after that, and it kind of left us in a position to where we were scrambling to find a coach. Nobody was interested just because of the fact that consistently we were getting low numbers. Chalker's always had, at least as long as I've been there, it's been stuff like 20 kids, 23 kids. I think the most I've had when I played was about 25 kids. And then Howland gets what a year? Like almost 50 kids coming out.
How many people did you graduate with?
I graduated with a class of 30.
30,
so
30
very small class.
Yeah, like Niles puts it we graduated like 150 people, I believe, in Niles or something. So like we definitely got some numbers, but Niles is like a girl down. Like we have a lot more girls than boys. That's why Niles is starting to drop down in divisions and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, and then so that season after, because we had a winless season. I mean, it didn't help that I think there was a very small handful, and it was mainly the seniors that year that had experience playing football, and a couple juniors as well, including myself. We did not win a single game that year, and a matter of fact, we only scored I think a total of 4 times that whole year.
Yeah.
So it was, it wasn't a good situation, wasn't a good outcome. Well, coming into the next season, once we got to, I think wintertime that year, we had consistently about 35 kids, and this was going to be our biggest roster we've had. Mm-hmm. 35 kids in the locker room every single lifting session. This was all throughout winter.
Yeah.
And then what happened in between, I have no idea. It flipped the script. We get into summer conditioning. We're only getting about maybe 10 to 15 kids showing up every single practice, every single conditioning. And weeks went on, that number just kept on dwindling. And by very early September, it was me, 2 other seniors, and a freshman. And
5-man squad right there.
Yeah, we ended up having to cancel the first half of our season. So all of our non-conference games, we ended up having to cancel. Then I think by mid-December, I remember this very – because it was definitely an emotional time. I've always been addicted to football. I've always loved playing football. But we got to I was at it was a middle school game. And another thing about this too is that, Southington rarely has middle school teams. So it was at that time, Wyndham and Southington combined middle school programs to be able to have a season. But yeah, I remember I was there helping do their film and all that. And our athletic director comes up, he says, "Hey, I got to talk to you. We pulled the plug on the season today. There's not going to be a season." I just remember how gut wrenching that was.
Like you did all this hard work and like,
oh yeah,
you wanted to be able to hit some other kids and stuff.
Yeah, and we ended up sticking it out. At that point, we just were showing up to practices to help mentor the middle school team, help them out. but yeah, and then Southington ended up canceling their season. We ended up not having a season. Then the very next season, they came back as a club team, which mainly they're not affiliated with this Ohio High School Athletic Association, so they're basically what the club team was. Anybody throughout Trumbull County that was associated with the school that didn't offer football, so like Bristol, Badger, Maplewood, all those schools, they were able to come to Southington and play football, and they had a pretty decent sized roster. I think it was like 23 kids or something like that.
So like
played a JV schedule.
So like three schools combined to create one football team.
Yeah, pretty much. And that was just the first step in their rebuilding process. They then the next season they continued the club route. Actually, no, I take that back. They closed the club route, switched to strictly JV. Played a couple 8-man games, and then that's when the gate opened for them to switch to 8-man. I think it was in 2024 they switched to the Northern 8 Football Conference, which that was a football conference created in 2020, basically just for a bunch of schools playing 8-man football. And they ended up finding great success in it. Actually, this past year, and I was lucky enough to be able to cover that game, and you know it was awesome to see your school in that position when they haven't been in that position in a very long time. And not at all for the football program, but they got to be a part of the first ever, not first ever, but their first ever football state championship game. And unfortunately,
what year did that happen? When they made the
this year.
Congratulations. Man.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it didn't go in their favor. They played a great game, but just fatigue started setting in at the end, and they were playing St. Mary's Central Catholic in Sandusky. But they ended up, they just came back and they ended up losing that game. But, they have such a young squad where a very large majority of them is coming back. And as a matter of fact, I think the only ones they're losing is a running back and their quarterback, which they've already been in set of replacing that quarterback. So I will not be surprised they come back to that state championship this year.
Like thinking about football, I love playing football myself, but like I even had a passion for coaching. And like you probably coached the running back, did you not? Like,
no, I never. See, I tried to coach a couple times, but see, this is the hard part about coaching high school is that a lot of schools would more prefer that way to keep it kind of inside the school. They would prefer to more hire supplemental staff like teachers and coaches or even parents. But what I tried to coach was bowling. I was a lot more successful in bowling than I was in football. I was just a kicker in football.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I got you. But like when I do commend you for like when your season did get canceled, you still show love to the middle school team.
Mm-hmm.
And when the middle school team is probably in high school now, and you had a touch on them kids, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And when I coached the little middle school team, like it made me feel special. Like, yo, what's up, Joe? What's up, Coach Joe? What's up, Coach Smitty and stuff. But
oh yeah. And I still talked, and actually I believe the youngest class on that football team are seniors this year. So, it's always cool to keep up with those guys. I still talk to a large majority of them. They're all cool people, tremendous athletes. And actually this is another athlete I want to shout out to just because, his story is just amazing. Little Colt Levinsky. He was I believe it was this past season. Is this past season or the season before? I can't remember off the top of my head, but he ended up finding out he had kidney cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point in moment, his season was done. He ended up having the surgery. However, I think it took a month of recovery, went into remission, and surprising out of nowhere. Actually, it was 2024 because I remember now because I was on the sideline that game. I just remember he's running out the tunnel. I'm like, what is going on? And he came back. He has a tremendous story. He's a talented athlete. He's probably one of their best running backs they got right now.
There you go, man. It's unfortunate for like anyone to go under that type of treatment, whether any type of cancer. That's unfortunate. I remember.
I want to give a shout out to.
Yeah, go ahead and say what you gotta say, Noah.
We are very devastated and saddened to announce that in season 1 we talked about a kid named Chase Miller. Unfortunately, he passed away losing his battle. So what we did was we wore gray. While we're wearing gray in honor of Chase. he passed away. I think last Friday, or Thursday. It was sometime last week he passed away.
Yeah, he had a long fight with brain cancer, and
He had a very rare form of brain
Yeah.
cancer, had a long fight, and
it just
unfortunately, he lost his battle.
yes. Yeah, we just want to say prayers out to his family.
We want to give prayers to his family.
You're in
We
our
also
thoughts.
want to give a shout out and prayers to our last special guest of season 1, Leighton Bussey. That was his brother. So that was Chase Miller's brother. So I want to give him a shout out, and I want to say sorry. And we will be at the calling hours, and the visitation.
Yeah.
We're not going to announce the time and day on this podcast because
if you guys want to find it, it's posted on Facebook and stuff.
if you want to find it, you can look up on Facebook. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about like any type of illness is bad, but like I was reading up on PC and I was intrigued, like, because last season every time we had a special guest, we would really just have the special guest be there and be a background character. But for this season, we want the special guest to be included. We want to interrogate him to the max interrogation level, the CIA level. So speaking about illness and stuff, like you had to step back in the year 2023.
Yeah. So actually, or 2024. Yeah. So I stepped back from the page a couple times. I stepped back in the first year we started in 2023 because essentially I just got burnt out at the job I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
Was gruesome. It was a lot of labor, and it wasn't aligning at the time. But I came back the next year. Now that fall I wasn't fully covering football like I usually do because I was getting married that year. I had my best friend come up for my wedding, so I had no time to do that. But the plan was to come back full time that winter. Now, November 2024, and actually there was a little bit of signs right before the wedding that stuff was happening.
Yeah.
I was increasingly losing my appetite, I noticed, and just one day at work, I just sat there. I was trying to eat my lunch at work, and I'm just like, man, I can't finish this, and I started getting sick. Now, originally, I thought it was like a stomach, like just normal stomach flu, because
stomach.
yeah,
bug.
it was just symptoms of that. But a normal stomach flu lasts anywhere between 3 to 4 days, week at most.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this just carried on through about anywhere between 4 weeks to 2 months. I can't remember, but yeah, no, it got bad to the point where normally I'm around 200 pounds. At that time, I was like 220.
Yeah.
I lost about 50 pounds. I lost 50 pounds within just a few weeks, and that's not healthy. That's not normal.
No, that's not.
And yeah, it got to a point where like I would edit stuff, and I'm just like, man, I said I can't focus on this. So I had announced, I'm like, man, I'm stepping back. I need to focus on my health because I mean, I would say it nearly took my life. I mean, I was having severe heart palpitations. It got to a point where my wife had to wake me up out of my sleep because I would just stop breathing. And it wasn't like I died or anything. It was just like I was stuck on manual breathing mode.
Yeah.
And, in the midst of my sleep, I can't, you can't control what you're doing.
No, you can't.
So, yeah, she would just have to wake me up. I remember I'd wake up and go, I'm like, what's happening? And it's just like, it was horrible.
I'm glad you overcome that. Did you ever get like a exact diagnosis, or just like it just happened?
Surprisingly, no, because I was supposed to go for originally I visited a gastrologist. I ended up switching him because they want to do an endoscopy on me because just what the symptoms I was describing at the time. But I was like, I think it would be more in my colon rather than because what a lot of people don't understand. This is what it started out as. I couldn't swallow food correctly.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the way I might have been explaining it. It wasn't the fact that it wasn't going down my throat. I couldn't bring myself to swallow it to begin with. Like I couldn't get the motion to do it. And so I was like, yeah, you're not understanding what I'm saying. I go to a different one. He says, okay, we're going to do a colonoscopy. And then by the next week, everything just returned to normal. It was weird. It's just a complete switch. So I just ended up canceling the appointment and nothing came about. And I've been fine ever since. It's weird.
So shout out to that doctor, man. Like I mean this when I say this. I'm gladly still have you here. And like we got you. You were down 50 pounds. That's major in a matter of weeks.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy, man. But like, what did you learn from that experience? Like is there something you could take away from that experience besides like, I made it, I surpassed it?
I guess just more just like, you know, you need to just, a lot of it, I feel like it was more mental than anything. I
Yeah.
think it's just better to find ways to relieve your stress, you know, because I mean, a lot of it I was panicking and that was not helping the cause at all. You know, and it's probably better to also eat healthier. I mean, I was eating poorly. I mean, that's what I thought contributed to it originally. Because every day for lunch we would just go to McDonald's because you got it. My old job, you had a McDonald's like
right across the street.
Yeah, right across the street, pretty much. So I mean, that didn't really help. But after that, I mean, I now know what better precautions to take because it's led to a whole slew of things afterwards. Like it pretty much, that whole illness pretty much cost me my last job because I mean I couldn't go to work, so it was something bad. But I mean, it opened a new gates, it opened a new possibilities. So I'm, you know, it is what it is. You know, we live and we learn and we move on.
Yeah, you just get better from it. You know, because either you just lay down and you push through it, and that's exactly what PC did. He just pushed right through it, so we commend him for that. So yeah, let's get back on a more positive topic. You know, just wanted to ask him about that. You said you obtained 7,000 followers since last year, bro. Show us your ways, bro.
Oh yeah.
What's the secret?
So
what's the secret?
Let's see here.
Do you put ads on your content at all?
I don't know. So we originally started out with like a small following with like 1,000 followers between this year and last year, but specifically this year, for whatever reason, you know, I came back and I just came back with a lot more. I took it more seriously than what I intended to do.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of it was me tagging people, me following people back. You know, I like to, unlike, you know, I'm not calling anybody out here, but like, unlike most media companies, I like to engage with people, and you know, that's how I ended up here. You know, I like engaging with people. You know, I don't just like put stuff out there. Okay, that's cool.
It's kind of like show love, receive love type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, we've built up more people. And also, I think a lot of it too is the fact that, you know, we, trying to think of a way to put this, you know, we do help athletes out. You know, we try to get their names out there, and you know, that does create you a big following.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you know, I mean, who
doesn't want to be posted on Trumbull Area Sports Network, man? I remember Noah's. You even mentioned Noah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But that's like goes back to your mission. You said like I've read your mission is like something about how you wanted to bring attention to smaller schools.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of your mission as well. And I also want you to mention something about your Project Game Changers.
Yeah, so Project Game Changers, which I'm hoping we get more people onto that. I'm gonna try to keep sharing it out there, and especially I'm gonna talk to some businesses about hopefully being a part of it. So I've always been a community service kind of guy. I've always liked to help people out.
Course, yeah. What
Project Game Changers is essentially it's just a fundraiser to help collect funds. You know, like I said, we're a nonprofit. I'm not doing any of this for money. I'm doing this out of the sole love for the game and the sole love of helping other people and bringing exposure to other people. You know, so essentially what it is, you know, we're collecting funds to help give back to our communities. We're going to try to, whether it's partial or full, more than likely it's going to be partial than full, to help send people to college, help send athletes, you know, help fund their athletic careers, and
help them get to the NFL or the NBA
that's
or the
goal.
NHL.
That's the goal,
and even
MLB,
then, and try to
MLS.
give them funds to give to schools and all that. You know, people need upgrades, like whether it's, you know, and essentially, I think the money once we do fundraise, you know, it could surprise me, but I think it's more going to be, you know, smaller funds. So it might be used towards like a $500 donation to like a specific athlete at a different school, or giving it to pay for, I don't know, like jerseys or some new equipment and stuff like that, you know, just stuff like that. But yeah, you know, I'm hoping to get more involved with it this year. I'm hoping to talk to more businesses. You know, I'm going to try to reach out to stuff like people like Raising Cane's, people like Quaker Steak and Lube, you know, because I know they do a lot of fundraisers. Yeah. You know, it right now it's just more, we're just trying to plan how we're going to do it.
I mean, like you definitely put in the work. 7,000 followers since last year, like that's major, and I'm sure like whatever you're looking for, whatever sponsor you're looking for, you're gonna obtain it. I just want to give a second to shout out to our sponsors real quick.
Miles Paint LLC and Mr. Reuter Plumbing of Youngstown. I want to give them a shout out.
So we're not on the donation level yet. We haven't donated. We're not on the donation level yet. But maybe us. I mean, Noah, PC, and I will start donating back to the community, man. Like we donated words so far, but maybe we just can start donating some funds. So
Yeah. And 1 second, okay. I want to do a 3-second moment of silence for Chase. He was number 3 on the soccer team. So let's do a 3-second moment of silence for Chase. Thank you.
all right, yeah, that was important. Thank you Noah for doing that. That was important.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, man, I have a lot more stuff to talk about. We're currently like 25 minutes into the podcast. How you liking the Noah and Joe show so far, PC? How's
Oh,
it feeling right now?
I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome to be here. I mean, I'm definitely going to try to share as much as possible. I definitely, that's another reason why I want to give you guys more exposure as well.
Yeah.
oh,
it's
of
always-
course.
it's always fun.
Yeah.
Win-win situation.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we're on Instagram and the Noah and Joe show.
He's on Instagram. He's on Facebook. Are you on like Snap? You on Snapchat or anything?
Not with this. No, just my personal Snapchat.
I understand. That's all right. But yeah, man. Like I always wondered who was the person behind the screen, man. So it's really an honor to meet you. But what made you want to get involved in like just showing like you said for the love of the game? What made you want to start getting involved in like to let's get this correct. You're a one-man squad. You're a one-man crew, but you cover like over 50 different schools in over 4 counties.
Yeah, so I'm actually glad because that was something I forgot to talk about at the beginning too. So Trumbull Area Sports Network, I formed it in 2023. Now it all stemmed from playing athletic sports in high school. Now my wife was a 2022 graduate of Newton Falls High School, and my brother-in-law was a marching band member, so we always went to the games. Like I said, the love for the sport never went away, and honestly, it grew more just because of the fact that I didn't get to play a senior season, which sucks for a high school athlete losing out on your senior season. But yeah, I went to the game, and I just thought to myself, I was like, why doesn't somebody just cover this game? I don't know. It was, I don't like how a lot of media companies, again, not calling anybody out, they only go for the people and teams that are winning.
Yeah.
And, I like to go for them no matter what, cause, and that's honestly been my one biggest critique is when I choose game of the weeks. It's like, oh, that's a horrible, like, especially when I chose Sebring. And Sebring respects me a lot because I did this. They're historically not a good program. And still to this day, they're still trying to work their way up as an 8-man program. They're 8-man as well. But I chose them as that. And I'm just, that's why I reminded myself why I do this. I'm like, I'm just doing it to bring exposure over, teams that are already overly exposed. But, yeah, I believe it was Newton Falls, East Palestine I was at. And, I did it, to try and bring in people from Newton Falls. And, that's the one thing I love about small town schools.
We're so close,
is
knitted together.
That community, no matter what, you're going 0-10, you're going 10-0, they're going to be for you no matter what. They're going to pack those stands every night.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do that for that. We started under the name originally Northeast Ohio High School Football. I ended up changing it midway through the season because it just made no sense to have it as that because I'm not covering all of Northeast Ohio.
Yeah.
Too many schools.
You had like 3 different name changes, didn't you?
Yeah, and then we rebranded to Mahoning Valley High School Football for the remainder of the football season. But that name got criticized just because of the counties I was covering. It's always been Ashtabula, Trumbull, Mahoning, and Portage.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, well, neither Portage or Ashtabula is a part of that. I think the Mahoning Valley is like a couple counties in Pennsylvania, Trumbull, Mahoning, and Columbiana. And I was just like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. So I took a step back. I said I was going to come back January 1st of 2024 under the name Trumbull Area Sports Network. And, we kept that. and the reason I came up with that name was I was just struggling to figure out what I was going to rename myself. And I was like, I'm covering all the counties surrounding Trumbull. Why not just Trumbull area? Why not create a new name for this area rather than, the Mahoning Valley, this and that. But yeah, that's just essentially how we started. And, and another thing to touch on too, about me leaving a couple times. So I left when I left when I got sick. I wasn't intending to come back, and actually I was set to join Austin Malyutic's team.
Yeah.
I was going to join their team, and luckily I dodged a bullet there because I think just like a couple weeks after I decided not to join them, Austin Malyutic ended up leaving his project entirely, ended up closing down Malyutic Live, and just went solo. And my buddy, one of my close buddies, convinced me. He's like, "Hey, he left. Why don't you come back? Because now there's nobody else besides YSN." And I'm like, I was like, "What do I got to lose?" So I decided to come back, and it, that was one of the best decisions I made because throughout the entirety of 2025 into just a couple months of this year, we've boosted anywhere between 5,000 to 6,000 more followers across all of our platforms, and and it's just an amazing thing. I love talking to coaches. I love talking to athletic directors. I love talking to the parents and students and all that. And, just the amount of praise that I give them as well as they give me, it's just a heartwarming thing. There's a couple times where I've just sat to myself and was like, wow, I've done something that I've truly proud of.
And it sounds like you enjoy it. And that's even makes more of the difference. You doing something that you enjoy and other people enjoy you doing it as well. And I understand why you're showing out smaller schools, even 8-man schools, because if you cover a top competitors game, okay, yeah, we know that was a game of the week. But say if you mention a smaller school, you get that community behind you. You get all those followers. You get all those people. Hey, man, I really like what you're doing. Thanks for shining us out. And makes the parents happy, the grandparents happy, even the players happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it even got to a point where when we started doing this, like I said, when I did the Sebring game, they respect me a lot because of it, because I gave their athletes exposure. I don't see much of WKBN or anybody like that. Like I said, nothing against those guys. They're tremendous at what they do, but you don't see them giving the respect that some of these teams deserve, because no matter what, whether they're going 0 whatever or going undefeated, you got to give props because not many people's willing to step on a field and play the sport. But yeah, that ended up leading me to get to cover the 8-man football game. And that was the first time I ever been on the field covering it, and we're going to be on the field a lot more this year as well. Now that we got some experience with it. But yeah, because Sebring was hosting that game, and they ended up reaching out to me about it. So yeah, it's more just, it takes time to build everything up, and it's leading to great things.
So we're about to end this podcast within the next 5 minutes. Let's go with some other stuff to talk about, but first I want to say, what do you like doing for fun? You create music, and he creates music. That's one of his hobbies. That's what I know of so far. And he speaks about health issues and drug addiction. So he's a man of the community. So he talks out loud. He talks out loud. He's pretty good at it too. So, but we want to know what people want to know. What do you like to do in your spare time? How do you wind down and relax?
So usually whenever I get home, I'm just, I either sit down on the chair, either watch TV, play video games or stuff like that. Outside of all that, yeah, I do. I have my own music channel. I do a lot of singing on the side. I performed at a couple places more recently, specifically in Canton.
Ohio, that's pretty big, man.
Yeah, it's one of those places that I performed out. I think it's called Wave Bar and Lounge. That was a pretty cool experience. Yeah, I've very seldomly though, just because I haven't really had the time to do it. But yeah, I'm a pretty big advocate of mental health awareness, drug addiction awareness. I was born of a child of addiction. I've not had no relationship with my mother since I was 14. Just my whole mom's side of the family's just been all addicted to drugs. And actually, more recently, I lost one of my close cousins. She lost her battle to an overdose. And yeah, it's just stuff like that. It's always affected me mentally, but it's just one of those things where, you got to move forward.
Yeah.
You got to, you can't let it bring you down, because either you let it bring you down, it's going to consume you to the point where, it takes your life, or you move forward and learn from it and gain experience from it.
So, like, especially in the area like Trumbull County, like the Trumbull area, that's a bad problem. And like for someone to just speak out about that, it's like it takes some iron balls. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
No, for sure. And the amount of people that I've known that I've grown with in my life that has gotten addicted to drugs. Like, there's so many people that I went to school with that are now addicted to drugs. Actually, she was more closer with my sister than anything, but somebody that I was friends with, she lost her life a few years back to a drug addiction. Just stuff like that. It's a shame.
We want to say sorry for your loss for your cousin as well. But make sure you keep your nose clean, man. Make sure you know what to do right now. If you guys are watching this, you guys will know what's right from wrong.
Okay. Right now I'm gonna go down some NBA scores and NHL scores, and then we'll end the podcast.
Sweet, man. Noah, take it over, man.
All right. So NHL, the Celtics and Lakers are tied with 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Let's go Celtics, huh? I'm a big Celtics fan.
Go Celtics.
Mavericks are currently beating the Pacers 100-93. 43 seconds left in the third quarter. The Hawks beat the Nets 115-104. The Raptors beat the Bucks 122-94. The Warriors beat the Nuggets 128-117. And the Hornets are currently beating up on the Wizards 46-39. Did you see that fight between the Hornets and the Pistons in Charlotte?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Isaiah Stewart got a 7-game suspension. And Isaiah Stewart, this wasn't the only fight he got into. He got into like 4 other fights before that.
I remember that one with LeBron a few years ago.
The one with LeBron. He got arrested in Phoenix
one
time for punching Devin Booker in the face before the game.
Yeah. Fighting is bad.
Yeah, violence isn't a good answer.
Unless you're a boxer.
Unless you're getting paid for it, what's the point,
If you're a boxing or wrestling, that's different,
Big shout out to USA as well for winning that championship today as well.
Oh, Team USA, we want to shout out men's and women's hockey team for winning the gold medal.
There you go.
And go USA, USA. NHL scores now. Golden Knights beat my LA Kings, unfortunately, 4-1. Lightning beat the Panthers 6-1. Penguins beat the Sabres 5-2. Hurricanes beat the Rangers 2-0. Capitals beat the Predators 4-2. And in overtime, the Senators beat the Flyers 2-1. So I also want to make an announcement. Season 2, Episode 3 will be in Miami, South Florida area. We'll be going down there.
We love Miami.
So we're going to have some fun. We're having an episode down in South Florida. So definitely looking forward to that. So I'll see you guys.
Wait, before we get off this, is there anything you want to I know you have is there anything you want to mention to the people real quick that they can look forward to about what you do, about Trumbull Area Sports Network?
Yeah, so this I forget what day it is, but it's March 1st. We're going to be hosting on our Instagram. I'm going to try to get on our Facebook too. I got to test around with our live stream stuff that we have, but we're going to be hosting our first ever live event. It's going to be basketball awards. We're going to be announcing the offensive player, defensive player, freshman of the year, coach of the year for both girls and boys basketball. So that's just stuff to look forward to. We're going to be announcing the top 5 finalists of everything that we haven't so far on February 26th. So look forward to that. Going to be a lot of good names out there. Just a lot of talent around this area. So stay tuned for that. After that, I don't have anything else.
And stay tuned to both of us, man. But that's pretty much the end of the podcast. We're 40 minutes deep. I think this is the longest episode we had so far. But we just want to shout out to our sponsors one last time.
Niall Payne LLC and Mr. Rooter.
And shout out to everyone who's been watching this whole time. Like, you know what I'm saying? We couldn't do it without you guys. But that's pretty much it, man. Everyone enjoy the rest of the Sunday, and we'll see you in the next one.
And cut.
Peace.
We're going to increase the episode.